My name is Benedetta, and I turned 35 this year. I've always prioritized my work, but my boyfriend of 5 years, Gene, wants to get married soon. So I feel like taking a break and stepping into a new environment. Our parents are very supportive of our marriage, and many of our friends have also given their blessings. However, my childhood friend, Araya, seems to have a different opinion. Today, I received this message from her on WhatsApp.
Are you really getting married, Benedetta?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what you really want? Just because everyone else is in a celebratory mood, you don't have to get married if you don't want to.
Well, it's true that my parents are happier than I am, but I'm happy to be able to marry Jean.
Really? Why now? You seem content with just being in a romantic relationship before. I don't understand why you suddenly want to get married.
Yeah, I personally thought it would be better to wait a bit longer, but Jean has been patient with me. We've been together for 5 years, so I thought we might as well get married soon, since we know each other well.
But I don't know about that. You used to have an attitude like being in a romantic relationship was enough. Suddenly, getting married out of nowhere? I just don't understand.
Thanks for your concern. But now, I also want to become Jean's wife.
So, Benedetta, you're no different from those women who give up their careers and choose marriage so easily, huh?
What do you mean?
I'm talking about those pathetic women who give up their career and easily choose marriage. They pretend to love their job and act like career women, but when they're about to miss their chance to get married, they rush into it. It's really annoying.
I haven't considered giving up my career, though. Jean said I can keep working even after we get married. Well, I think the extreme overtime and working on holidays like before will surely decrease.
Gene may say one thing, but he'll surely change his attitude once you're married, that's for sure. Men who want their wives to earn more money than themselves after marriage don't exist in this world. You know that, but you pretend not to notice it, don't you? So, you'll make an excuse after getting married, right? Saying something like, it was different before we got married, right?
Why do you deny the idea of marriage so much? Araya, you talk as if you can see the future, even though you haven't experienced it yourself.
I can understand why you have that perspective based on what you see around you. Especially with women who earn a lot before marriage. They tend to completely change after getting married. They start saying things like, a woman is best at home, and I didn't know there could be anything more fun than work. It's funny how they affirm their laziness after getting married, and I find it quite amusing.
Is that so? But those people are entitled to their own opinions, aren't they? Just because they feel that way, it doesn't mean that I will end up the same. You're my childhood friend, Araya, and it would make me happy if you could be more supportive and happy for me.
I'm cautious precisely because we've been childhood friends. Besides, it's common to hear stories about couples who have been together for years getting divorced within a year of getting married, you know? So, if there's no problem with the way things are now, there's no need to bother getting married or anything like that.
So, Araya, do you have no intention of ever getting married?
Are you picking a fight with me just because I don't have a boyfriend?
No, of course not. I'm just curious why you're so opposed to the idea of marriage.
That's because I'm thinking about your well-being, Benedetta. I'm giving you advice so you don't regret getting married later on. Because once you get married and regret it, it's too late.
This may be an extreme view, but if things don't go well after we get married, we can consider divorce. Divorce is not necessarily a bad thing, so I don't understand why you're so afraid of it. Won't Jean and I be stuck if we can't move on to the next step?
That's why I'm saying there's no need to rush things. You're surprisingly stubborn, Benedetta.
You know, it's funny how you are, Araya. Criticize us for wanting to move forward when you've never even been married. I think you're the stubborn one here.
Oh well. If that's how you feel, go ahead and do what you want. But I can't say I'm exactly thrilled about it.
But you haven't even really talked to Jean yet, have you? So you're trying to apply only the negative aspects of marriage to us by taking them out of context. But once you get to know Jean's character, I'm sure you'll understand that we'll be just fine.
I don't think my perspective will change no matter who the other person is. But if you're going to say that much, I don't mind meeting him.
I understand. I also want your blessing, Araya, if possible. And in order to maintain a good relationship in the future, I want you to meet Gene. I'll properly introduce him to you.
Okay, let's contact each other again when we're both free. I'm looking forward to getting to know Gene.
Araya and I have been childhood friends, but we haven't been able to meet frequently since becoming working adults. Although I've been dating Gene for 5 years, I had never properly introduced him to Araya, so I thought this would be a good opportunity. Gene agreed to it readily and seemed excited about it. That being said, I was surprised to learn that Araya held such negative views towards marriage. As for me, I was really disappointed that as childhood friends, Araya couldn't bless our marriage. But I believed that if I introduced Gene to her, she might change her mind, so I looked forward to that day with excitement. On the day of the meeting, Araya seemed cautious at first, but she quickly warmed up to Gene and seemed to trust him. That night, she even sent me a WhatsApp message saying, 2 weeks later,
Hey, thanks for today.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to meet us. So what did you think of Gene?
He's a really good guy, just like you said. He's sharp, gentlemanly, and good-looking, too. I was surprised.
I'm glad you thought so. I'll let Gene know.
But still, I have to say I'm opposed to marriage.
What? Can you tell me why you feel that way?
It's just... he's too good to be true. I can't believe it.
What? That's just overthinking it. I've been with Gene for 5 years now, so I feel like I really know him. There's no hidden meaning behind that smile, so don't worry about it. I'm happy to hear that you feel that Gene is exactly the person you thought he would be. Everything's good.
If Gene is really who he says he is, now we have a disparity problem.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
It means exactly what it sounds like. He's out of your league, Benedetta.
Are you making fun of me?
I'm just stating the facts here. First of all, just by appearance, you two don't match. Gene is tall and handsome, whereas you, Benedetta, are not conventionally attractive and a bit on the chubby side. It's just not a good match.
Hey, stop it. Don't say such mean things.
I'm just stating the facts here, and it may be shocking, but I don't think many people would see you two walking together and assume you're a married couple. I mean, it's hard to see you, Benedetta, as the wife of someone as accomplished as Gene. Even people who know you both might wonder why Gene chose you, don't you think?
Why would you say such a cruel thing? Araya, do you want to hurt me?
That's not it. I'm just saying there's a possibility that you, Benedetta, are being conceited. Are you sure you're not being fooled by Gene?
That's too much, Araya. You can't treat Gene like a fraud.
See, the fact that you're defending Gene like that is a bit strange, isn't it?
What's wrong with defending my fiancé? Besides, I thought you were an important childhood friend to me, Araya, but it seems you're not. I'm really shocked. I introduced you because I wanted you to meet him.
It's precisely because I met him that I realized this. If you really intend to marry him, you should be careful. Be careful, Benedetta, and if it turns out later that you've been deceived, don't expect me to help you out.
There's no need for that. It's actually you, Araya, who is wrong.
Oh well, you believe Gene more than you believe me, huh? No matter how important you say childhood friends are, ultimately, your own feelings are the most important.
I can't just let it go, Araya. You keep accusing us without any evidence and calling Gene a scammer. It's just not acceptable. I only introduced Gene to you with the hope that we can continue to have a good relationship. I didn't expect you to criticize us like this.
Benedetta, I want to remain friends with you. But in order for that to happen, we need to make sure you're not being deceived. That's why I'm saying all this.
You know what? It's fine. If that's how you perceive us, then there's not much we can do about it. It seems like you're just misunderstanding our situation.
I think my thoughts are correct, though.
Well, you'll understand eventually, but it's fine.
If you want to deny my thoughts, go ahead. But you'll be the one to regret it later, Benedetta.
It's really disappointing, but I guess there's nothing to be done. You don't have to come to the wedding if you don't want to.
No, I'll come to the wedding. I need to see your happy face not knowing you're being deceived. I'll take some incriminating photos while I'm at it.
How can you even think like that? You're crazy.
Huh? Now you're criticizing me? It's also contradictory, don't you think?
No one would feel good after hearing such terrible things. I'm tired now. I think that's enough for today. Good night.
Sure thing. Get some rest. I hope you wake up and realize how foolish you've been.
Araya's twisted thinking has ruined today's enjoyable time, and it's truly disappointing. Gene noticed that I was feeling down, and without asking for details, he comforted me, and I felt a little better. However, I realized that I need to think about my relationship with Araya from now on. Also, during the preparation for the wedding, I didn't receive any contact from Araya and was able to focus on the preparations. However, on the day of the wedding, Araya sent another provocative WhatsApp message. 6 months later.
Good morning! What a nice morning!
Good morning. It's been a while.
Yeah, actually, I've been gathering some information.
Information about me and Gene?
I feel like I know a lot about you, so mainly about Gene's information. So, I found out that he's a psycho after all, so I won't be attending today's wedding.
You were snooping around behind my back, but I bet you couldn't find any reliable information.
But I did find something surprising.
Okay, tell me then.
Well, be prepared, Benedetta, because you might be shocked. Gene was indeed a fraudster.
What are you talking about? Gene can't be a fraudster. Stop saying weird things repeatedly. It's rude.
There's solid information, I'm telling you.
Alright, if that's the case, just tell me quickly.
Okay, you're so impatient. Gene, turned out to be just as I suspected. He's a marriage fraudster.
What? A marriage fraudster?
I met with Gene's ex-girlfriend and heard her side of the story, so there's no mistake. She was really pitiful, being deceived by him like that.
I also know about Gene's ex-girlfriend. Luckily, I haven't met her before.
What, you knew? And yet you still wanted to marry Gene? Are you crazy?
But I don't really understand why you're calling him a marriage scammer. What did his ex-girlfriend say?
Even though they were engaged, Gene cheated on her and then dumped her. She did everything for Gene and devoted herself to him, but he cheated on her and left her. Isn't that awful? She apparently spent a considerable amount of money on travel expenses and gifts for him, yet he didn't pay any compensation or even respond to her messages and ended things unilaterally, leaving her like a rag. To use someone for money and then discard them like that, Gene is undoubtedly a fraudster.
So she said that, huh?
Benedetta, it's pitiful that you had to find out about this on your wedding day. I feel sorry for you. But now you know his true nature, right?
Gene isn't that kind of person.
Huh? You're still trying to defend him after hearing all of this? You both are crazy if you're going to get married. I don't want to have anything to do with crazy people, so don't contact me again.
I see. You don't want to have anything to do with us anymore. Well, I'm relieved. Goodbye.
Wait, what?
As you wished. I won't contact you again.
Hold on. Why would that be the case? That's where you're supposed to say, I was wrong, isn't it?
Araya, you have misunderstood the situation. First of all, it was the girlfriend who cheated. And even though she spent a lot of money, Gene also treated her well. Despite that, she cheated on him and betrayed him, so it's only natural that she got dumped.
What? Then why did she lie to me?
She probably twisted the truth out of bitterness from getting dumped. It's really sad that she's holding a grudge against Gene while ignoring what she did wrong. So, it's not me who's being fooled. It's you, Araya.
I see. But how do you know all this, Benedetta? You never met her, have you?
No, I haven't, but she used to stalk me for a while after I started dating Jean.
What?
I reported it to the police, and it stopped soon after that, so I haven't actually met her in person.
How do you know that she was stalking you?
Jean had received a message on WhatsApp that said, "If you don't break up with that woman, I'll stalk her and harass her for the rest of her life."
That's scary.
So, as your former childhood friend, I'll give you a final warning. You shouldn't have any more contact with such a woman. Who knows what she might do? It's better for you not to have any contact with her again.
What? But I became friends with her. We even made plans to have tea together.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, I don't think she'll do anything weird to you, but she's really a terrible person inside, so you should be careful. Well, I also think you, Araya, are pretty crazy in your own way, so maybe you two will get along.
I understand what you're saying, Benedetta. Let's forget about the talk of cutting ties earlier.
No, I can't do that. I also thought I couldn't keep up a relationship with you anymore. Also, please don't accept the invitation to the wedding. I'll inform the receptionist, so please don't come today.
Don't say that. We've known each other since we were kids.
Yeah, that's right, but I can't keep up with your behavior anymore. And I understand now why you were so persistent on opposing my marriage. You couldn't tolerate the idea that I might be the only one to be happy, could you? Whenever I tried to stand out more than you would make snide comments.
I admit it. You're right, but I'm sorry. From now on, I will sincerely wish for your happiness, Benedetta. Don't say that we should stop being friends, please.
If you truly wish for my happiness, then stay away from me.
That's so sad.
Also, don't forget that it was you who first suggested ending our friendship. Thank you for everything up until now. Goodbye. Afterwards. Araya has cut off all ties with me and has not responded to any of my messages since. Of course, I have no intention of meeting her, and I haven't even told her the address of the new home that Jean and I will be moving into. According to what I heard from a mutual acquaintance, Araya seems to be regretting the fact that she cut me off and is quite distressed. I was one of the few friends Araya had, which is why I hope she is reflecting on her foolish behavior and will return to her senses soon. While secretly rooting for her to return to normalcy, Jean and I have started a happy new life together.